Hey, here's how you hook up Fleece to Super Text Mesh with zero programming. This will also work with any other text renderer. I'm just using Super Text Mesh since I made it, and this is my tutorial. First, I'm going to show how to use jumpers, since that's the easiest way to get text from your story onto a game object. Now on your text object, we're going to add the generic jumper component, and we're going to make it so that on the setText event, we're going to make it so on your text object during editor and runtime, we are going to assign the text property. And then in the jumper, we're going to just pick any passage just to test this, and bam, you get the text from whatever was saved in the passage. There it is in the Fleece editor. And as you change to a different passage, it will update in your scene automatically. Next up are drawstrings, which control dialog boxes. Here I've gone ahead and assembled a really simple dialog box and attached the generic drawstring component to it. The generic drawstring component has many parameters that can be modified to work with whatever you want to do with your game's dialog boxes. Similar to jumpers, there's a starting passage that you can select that'll be used if begin on start is true. Most of the Unity events here are used to show and hide parts of the dialog box. Right here, I just have it set up to use GameObject.setActive, true and false, but in a real game, you can use an animation to make a dialog box fade in, fade out, or whatever you want. There's only one thing of note here because I'm using Super Text Mesh. I have the main Super Text Mesh configured so that when it completes reading, it invokes text.reading on the drawstring. If you don't want to deal with this, on the generic drawstring, just make sure that immediately allow continue is checked. Just like on the jumper component earlier in this tutorial, onSetText event should set the text parameter of your text renderer. The Unity events for choices are in an array, so you can make this array as big or small as it needs to be to cover how many maximum choices you're going to have in your game. The setText events are set up very similarly to the regular setText event up above, and the drawstring component will automatically take care of showing and hiding how many choices are available at a certain time. I have this button configured so that when it's clicked, it'll call generic drawstring.begin with the parameter vn_start. That'll tell the drawstring to start reading at the passage named vn_start. In a non-example project, you'd probably invoke this in a situation such as walking up to an NPC and pressing the interact button. I have a second button set up here just to show starting at different passages. More importantly, I have the continue button configured to call continue when clicked. Don't forget this when setting up your drawstring, whether you have this being called by a button or being called by Unity UI. And similarly, for each of the choice buttons, I have them invoking generic drawstring.makeChoice, and it's passing an integer for its place in the UI. And here it is in action, starting at the defined sample passage. Hit continue, goes to the next section. Hit it again. It's reached a choice. There are 3 choices to make. Let's go with this one. And continue. Continue. Let's start at the other passage. Continue. Continue. This is just going through some example passages for Fleece that I already had set up, so you can see how it follows the dialog tree there. And this is everything you need to know to integrate Fleece into your Unity project with zero programming.